needs one up front. I'll say you what for one. He needs one up front.
Okay. Welcome everybody. I'm not a professional demonstrator. I just started turning last Tuesday. Anyway, I've been asked to do a demo on turning perfect spheres. And I've got a job coming up where I got to make some 5-inch perfect spheres. And there's no time frame on it right now, but I thought I ought to have a fixture for doing it because that's a lot easier than using a template and fooling around. So I was looking at different designs, and this is a design by Carter. And I liked it, and I had to find out a few things about it. But one thing I found out is that this little cutter on the end is not flat, it's tipped at 13 degrees. I found that from the video, when I stopped the video at 90 degrees to it. I measured the program on my computer. And I called Carter and I said, yeah, that's what it is. But anyway, I built this thing to take different sizes. This is set up now to take a 15 or a 16-inch lathe, and I set it up for my 16 now. But I've got a piece of mesquite here out of the desert, and I hit it a little bit at home to knock the corners off. And I don't know if you ever see the video from Captain Eddie to use Carter's cutter. I mean, he starts out with a piece of mahogany sticking out of there, and he turns it down to about 1-inch diameter back here, touches the cutter to it, and the outer end busts off and goes flat. I knew that was going to happen. But anyway, he usually cuts them at 45 degrees, and I could do that here too. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to start it right from scratch. I'm going to do all the cutting with this. These cutters cut really, really good. So, and I've got this in the way here. I suppose I could take it out of there, but I'm just trying to see if I get enough swing.
You can pull that right out.
It's going to be tough.
Pull your heel nut out.
Yeah, let's do that. I don't know if any of you have seen the new lathe they got by Nova. It's a 16-inch lathe, Galaxy. I just bought one, a beta model. That is cool. It goes from 0 to 5,000 RPM. That's really cool. Anyway, we'll get started. The way this thing is set up, there's a stop right here. This stop sets your height so you can put your cutter back on and off, and it always winds up in the same place. And one of the things I learned from Captain Eddie watching his video is that the ones with Carter, they got little knobs on them. I've got arthritis really bad, so I can't turn little knobs. So he says it's better to have a long handle. So that's what I put on here. And I'm just eyeballing this now for center. And I got that eyeballed for center. So what happens here is this thing advances. This is your advance in the back here, and then you rough set it forward or back. And what I like to do is I like to have this thing choked up as tight as possible right here. I don't like that hanging way out for chatter reasons. The other thing is, I don't know if you can see it in the video, but on the top of this piece here, there's 3 angles. And I'm going to use the flat on the top. The other 2 are cut at 15 degrees, and what that is, you can take that cutter and tip it for a shear cut. You can tip it this way and shear that way, and then you can tip it this way and shear that way for a smoother cut. I haven't used it like that yet. I tried it one time and it works okay, but I don't usually use it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this thing as close as possible, and then I'm going to lock it in. See if this will back up anymore. Yeah, well, okay. And I'm trying to think what else there was on here. I don't know. There's a little lock right here too to lock your spindle after you set the cutter.
Okay.
Can you see it okay?
Yeah.
All right. Let's get started. Now, I'm going to lock up here. I don't know if you guys ever use these things. These are magnetic catches from purses. And if there's nothing in the way, they lock up really nice. Keep it from going down your neck. So it's going about 1200. That's pretty good speed. Guess I better put my glasses on to be official. Okay. So You don't have that too bad. Just advance this.
And one of those things that automatically cuts off for a few seconds.
You can take quite a good cut with this one. One thing about this is I have to change this big bearing in here. When I made this, I just picked a bearing I had in the barn. It's a 1/2 inch high, and that's a 1 inch piece of aluminum, and it's got too much play in it. And I tried this thing to do a concave cut, because the Carter one has a hole here, it doesn't have a hole here. If I put this piece in here, I can swing a great big radius on it. But it won't do it because there's too much play in the bearing and it jumps up and down. And then you can, when I'll show you when we get going here, when you run out of room on this side to swing, you can cock this thing off center. And this little ring holds it at the right height. And you can work in the corner this way and in the corner that way if you need be. This is kind of like a parting tool. You know when you get behind a parting tool, you get a bat. It's like watching grass grow, isn't it? The thing is, you know when you're done, you got a perfect sphere. You don't have to use any gauges or anything like that. The only thing you got to worry about is the design and the finish down. And I've got after I get this thing cut, hopefully I'll part it off. And, you know, listen. I've got some chucks to put the tailstock and headstock to try out. And the first ones I made were made out of wood. And they weren't very concentric. So therefore, setting this thing up on the second cut, you're going to take all this off, and it's going to move the center over, so you got to recenter the thing. And it wasn't fun, because I couldn't center it with the tailstock being off and the headstock being off. I get it set, and the thing will be out of center, and then it grew up on it. Getting down the sapwood, I think. 6 feet here.
Hold on a second, we gotta fix the camera.
Just trying to see
Okay.
if we can get a show of what it's done to it now.
Okay. See, this is a piece of mesquite. This is bark. This is sapwood. It's really, the wood on mesquite is really pretty yellow. And sometimes I use it in projects. Sometimes I cut it away. Depends. One of the things you find when you're cutting mesquite is there's a lot of bugs in it. And I was making a tabletop, and I cut through 13 bugs, taking all that stuff off there. And they're alive and they're working. They'll be in there 35 years. All set?
Yep. Tasty.
Yeah, they can live in the wood 35 years. I'm going to get all the sapwood off of there, and I'm going to kick it over, and I'll show you how the thing works. Stand out of the way. It doesn't taste good either.
Especially when it's got bugs.
Okay, right now this thing is on center. This is the way I'm cutting, right on the center. What I want to do is I want to take more of this material off. So I could, on mine at home, what I do is I have a banjo set up here all the time. I have 2 banjos on there. And I'll take this one and I'll go in here and put a rest in there and whittle that away with a gouge. Well, I can't do that today unless I use a gouge on top of here, which would probably work. But anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how you offset this to one side or the other to get in there to get those corners out. So I back it away so the cutter's way far away here, loosen up the vertical one, cock it off on an angle, and then I'm going to feed it back in, and I'm going to Let's see, maybe I can fast forward this thing a little bit. It's gonna want to bite, but that's okay. I'll see where the corner's going to come, and I'll take it off with a parting tool. Okay, that's good. Bring her back on center. This is quite a nice little tool. They sell these things at Carter for like $350. I'm going to bring it back. What I'm doing is I'm choking it up real good so that you got the little arm is inside of the big arm, and the big arm is giving it support. Whereas if I had that little arm will stick out quite a ways. I've got a lot of travel left on here yet, but I don't want it to stick out there. I want support. Now you see I can do the same with the other side. I should have done that. Let's take that nose down. I'm going to try to cut this whole nose off of here without using a regular tool.
Can you just pull this up? Is it stable enough?
Not yet.
Okay.
It might be, but I don't take a chance on it. Let's do that. Let me get that thing down, and I'm going to take the tail stuff out. I'll whittle it away a little bit. Got so many levers here, I got to remember which one's what. I like to use tailstock support as much as possible. And I have a steady rest I made for the lathe down in Arizona, one that breaks in two, that you put over the thing. And I'll tell you, I've used that more times this winter.
Makes sense to put the screen in?
What's that?
Makes sense to, if you're gonna take that tailstock socket and put the screen up?
Can't do it, yeah. Yeah, I don't want to hit anybody. Okay. Now I'm going to take it from the start. Get this thing back on center. I'll get it so far, and then I'll have to put a parting tool in to part the ball off. Okay. Get it back out of there. All right. It's going too slow. Well, they got pressure down on the bearing. I don't worry about it. It doesn't vibrate at all. So I put a handle in the back of mine. Carter doesn't have a handle on there, so you have to grab it on top here to use it all the time. I just like to improve on it a little bit. I'd like to make a bowling ball on here. You guys ever see a guy named Izzy Swan? Anybody ever watch Izzy Swan on YouTube? Izzy Swan made a bowling ball on a table saw. The guy's a master. I mean, he comes up with more innovative stuff. Okay, I'm out of travel. Get it choked up again. Too many levers in this thing. Who made this? Almost there. There we go. See, I whittled the way out of there. It's not touching the air so much anymore. I better lock it. Only the groove right here when you get out.
Jim, to do the other end.
Yeah, go back up, because I won't be able to get it.
I don't know exactly where the end of this is going to be, somewhere around here. So I didn't put all the sap oil out there. Thought I did. Okay. Now these other two things I haven't used yet. We'll see how they work. I hope they're much more. I'll need the tailstock back. I can put this on anytime. Let's see. Where's that later? About this guy. I gotta get used to that at home. Now I got two different sizes at home. Used to be off an inch.
What are those made out of, Jim?
Nylon.
Nylon?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, this goes on. See the way this is set up, it's got slots in it, and you set these little bars for whichever size lathes you got. And these lathes are quite a bit bigger than my two lathes at home, so I just adjusted it a little bit. And I noticed that I'm going to change the bolts on there. See, that's the other problem here. I hope I'm not in trouble here. These, you can't run between this lathe here. This bar hits the supports. And my lathes at home run all the way through, so I don't know. I hope we're on center. Let's see. Yeah, I think we'll be all right. Okay, this is the hardest part, is lining this up. I'm going to try to knock all that off. I'm not going to saw it off or anything else.
Did you buy those nylon units, or did you make those?
No, I made these. I made wooden ones first, and I didn't like them. They weren't concentric. See, this is a tailstock center here. See how she looks. Whoop, that's what I thought. We gotta get that bugger backed way off. Get it totally out of the way. See how the contour looks. It's hard to tell with that flipping around like that. Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to try to center it up as best I can. This is one of the hardest parts. One of the guys that makes a different model than this, I saw on a video, he has a little telescoping piece that comes up from the bottom here with a point on it. I have made this just for an eyeball point, and I put that over the bolt just to try to line it up. But from here to here it's very hard. Well, this guy has a little piece that comes up there. So what I do is I try to get the cutter, I gotta take my glasses off to do this. I try to get the cutter to be exactly in line, just to scrape it. And once I'm there, then I can lock down the center here. I might have to tap it right or left just to here. Yeah, big gap right there.
So it would help if you blue taped the edge so that you can set it back again?
The edge where?
When you take
This?
before you take it off. just put
Oh,
a
you mean
piece
to
of
take
tape.
where this goes?
Yeah.
This is a totally different place because you've taken off the chuck and everything.
Okay.
So the center is always goofed up. So now I got a gap over here, none over there, so I gotta move this that way just a slight bit. Where's my persuader at? Don't take much. It's good enough for demonstration purposes. If I was at home, I'd fool around with it a lot farther, but I think it's pretty close.
Good enough for you guys.
Good enough to show you the concept, okay? But you know, if I'm gonna make, this ball isn't very good, I mean. And the other thing I was gonna tell you is that if any of you guys use these carbide cutters, Carter sells them, and there's a place called Arizona Carbide that sells them for less than half price. They're very, very good. They're $12.50 down there, Carter sells them for $29. It gives you an idea.
Kevin Canetti's on too.
Yeah, but he's not as cheap. Okay, I gotta see where this is gonna come. This is, see, I'm gonna get right there. All right, feels good. What's that? Well, that ball really looks good. Compared to the last time I used those wood ones, I could see the outside of the ball just going like that. It was just terrible. I cut up, trying to round it off. I bet I took another quarter of an inch off the ball. This one's gonna be pretty decent. One of the biggest things with making tools for your lathe is keeping concentricity all the time. The other ones, the wooden ones, mark the ball quite a bit too. There are people that sell these things commercially, and I don't know if they're steel or what, but on the outside edges of them where they contact the parts, they're rubber, so you don't need the interface pad. And if I could find some rubber, I'd do that.
Rubber chucky, that guy.
Rubber chuckies, yeah. Rubber chucking. I'm probably off center just a hair. Yeah, because I'm hitting over here. I'm still not there yet. I hope I didn't take too much off the ball. You know, when I parted it off, I might have, But that's okay, because we just rotate it and we'll finish it. I'll show you. That's what I did the last time. I had to take so much off. What happened? The leather flew out, didn't it? Yeah. Yeah. You get it?
Fresh leather.
Yeah. That's why you need the rubber chuckies.
You shouldn't need that leather in there with those,
Well, we can try without it. Let's try without it. But I think it might mark it up. That's all right. Because it's pretty hard. It's hard nylon. Yeah, let's try without it. This is the first time I use these guys. No problem.
the ball move that way, 16 for the wind.
You lost the thickness of your ball, you're off center now.
Yeah.
Your leather, the ball of the spheres, the thickness of the leather.
You mean off center? Yeah, you're right.
Because you moved it off this end here.
Yeah, I moved everything, didn't I? Okay, well, let's see.
Move down that 16 for the wind. You've been all set up for years, you know that.
Yep, quite a bit. I'm off 2 thicknesses of leather.
One thing.
2. There's one here and there's one here.
Just one end though.
Oh, that's right, just the one
Isn't that
here.
right? You've been off center for years, so it don't matter.
It don't matter. Okay, we're gonna go. I wanted to get that sapwood out of there anyhow, so.
We're gonna have a market. Yeah, it won't be quite that.
That's the pith showing up in there, that's okay. We'll get that out. I'll finish it off and just turn it. I think it's pretty close. I had it off, I set it up just a little bit. Okay.
Has one for mine too.
Sure.
Yeah, it's still off a little bit. Like I said, this is the hardest part of these fixes, getting that second part of the line. Take time to try it. Too bad there wasn't a way to measure this exactly, how much it moves when you change the ball around like this.
Depends on how deep the
Dial indicator on it,
pump is.
swing it around.
Put an indicator on it, yeah. That'd be the way to do it. Yeah, I need a fine adjustment is what you need. Okay. It looks like it's touching all the way around. Final cut. Still got a little bump on it. Well, I'll tell you what, I'm gonna close it off right here. This is a lot of frogging around, no use taking your time. And I just wanted to show you how this thing works. And the hardest part is getting that thing lined up the second time. The ball holders do hold it a whole lot better than the other ones did, the wood ones. Kind of like the rubber chuckies would, but they're right on center. There's a lot of frogging around. I can see where you need some method to adjust this thing minutely. Whereas I'm going back and forth, beanie over you.
Jim?
So anyway. That's it, guys. You got a ball, although it's not a perfect ball. Here you go, you can have that.
Hey, Jim?